As a millennial, I've seen some crazy shifts across my work life. Smartphones, social media, and AI are all some examples. But the one that really stands out to me is the decline of the MBA. Rewind a decade, and getting an MBA was the ticket to reaching the upper echelon of business leadership. Whether you chose the 2-year sabbatical or the up-all-night path, the 6-figure debt was worth it. The grind resulted in that coveted stamp of approval, 3 letters that differentiated you from the rest. MBA. Now, I consult with and coach digital professionals, those in fields like data science, cybersecurity, and cloud. Many of them want to elevate into positions of business leadership. That's natural. But they feel roadblocked. They believe an MBA is the only gateway to the next level. And they believe their technical background makes them unfit for the pursuit. In this episode, I'm going to open your mind to some promising alternatives. And just one thing to flag for you. If you want to dive deeper into content like this, make sure you sign up for the Wednesday Wisdom newsletter at MatthewDoan.com. All right, let's get into this episode. Welcome to the Rising Digital Leaders Show. I am your host, Matthew Doan. Today's organizations are powered by digital capabilities, cloud, data science, cybersecurity, and much more. To be competitive, we must have tech-savvy leaders steering the ships. But these people don't come out of thin air. We must develop them. This show is for the technical experts of the world, those brave souls that feel unheard and lost in the crowd, but know they were born to lead. We need you to rise, to become impactful digital leaders. In these episodes, we help you undergo a self-transformation, developing the mindset and skill set that'll massively enhance your abilities, influence, and career potential. We take a different approach, pulling in lessons from philosophy, psychology, neuroscience, and history to enrich the professional and personal aspects of your life. Thank you for your time. Please subscribe to the Rising Digital Leaders Show. Now, let's dig in. Straight up, for tech professionals and the great majority of people, the MBA is not necessary and it's not worth it. There, I said it. Now, for sure, there's the exception of going to a top 20 school. It'll certainly propel your career, but that is the exception. And I'm talking to the majority here. I'm talking to those in tech. There's a real question here. Why do so many people still believe the MBA is the right path for career advancement? Honestly, it's a fallback strategy. They don't know any better. When evaluating MBA application rates over recent years, we can see that they're actually counter-cyclical. In years of economic boom, we see a drastic fall. People live in the present. They're trying to reap the rewards of doing good work. And during challenging times, like since COVID hit, we see an upsurge. People fixate on the future, investing to differentiate themselves later. But let's get to the core. Here's why most people chase an MBA. 3 things: mastery, badges, and attention. See? MBA. Did you see what I just did there? In other words, we see credentials that win us valuable business skills, the favor of employers, and honestly, a professional network that'll carry us for decades. All important things to strive for. But realize, you don't need an MBA to achieve these aims. There are attractive alternative models available. And for ambitious digital professionals, this is excellent news. Back to that point I was making. You're really seeking mastery, badges, and attention. Let that sink in. So you're surely familiar with the popular certifications for your function or industry. They've served as the dominant stamp of approval outside of actual college degrees. However, because certifications are usually technical in nature and involve standardized tests, they don't give people the opportunity to pursue business leadership skills like organizational strategy, people management, or entrepreneurship. And so, the default mentality is that we must pass through the proverbial MBA gates of fire to become a business leader. The financial costs are staggering, often going north of $200,000. But even if your employer is kind enough to pay, An MBA is a considerable time commitment. Naturally, every decision in life involves trade-offs, so we need to consider all variables. In reframing the MBA acronym, let's establish clarity on people's underlying why for pursuing an MBA. First is mastery. With mastery, beyond getting a stamp of approval, you want to implement actual upgrades to your mindset and skill set. You need your business leadership abilities to go beyond academic theory. You want to be capable in real-world situations. Next is B, badges. I get it. You want to add the MBA Medal of Honor to your LinkedIn profile and resume. You want to tell the world, hey, I'm qualified to help run this place. The reality is that employers filter potential hires based on many factors. Education credentials are still one of them. And yes, a top-tier MBA can make a significant difference. Third point then is attention. There's a long-standing viewpoint that an MBA's primary worth is the professional network it helps create. You stick with your cohort in class, and they propel you for years to come. With this network in hand, you're top of mind with other important people. Building solid relationships during MBA boot camp establishes a bond that should endure for a long time over your career. It's the whole idea of you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. That way, all boats will rise. Okay, that's the idea. We're all seeking mastery, badges, and attention through an MBA. Let that guide our thinking going forward. Now that we're clear on what we're really after, we can set aside the MBA-only mentality for a moment. Let's open our minds to alternative approaches that generate mastery, badges, and attention. We've got some fresh new models out there. Bluntly said, we humans are terrible at self-motivation. Left to our own devices, with no external encouragement, we easily distract ourselves or procrastinate. This is evidenced by rock-bottom completion rates in what's known as massive open online courses, or MOOCs. You've probably seen these before. Education for free from top universities like MIT and Harvard, but you have to put in the time. You have to have your own attention. Even when forking out their own money, people struggle to extract value from on-demand courses, whether that's in digital marketing or cryptocurrency, when left alone. Passive, self-directed learning is really hard, especially when you're holed up in your office bedroom. So we seek the MBA experience, where community and accountability are built-in features. We'll pay that $200K for that. But is that really all there's available? Wes Kao, co-founder of the edtech startup Maven, recently highlighted a fundamental challenge in learning. In our view, she said, we've reached the post-content age. Content is no longer scarce in education. It's either free or low cost, and it's abundant. Maven and other programs like it are betting on this idea. They're weaving community and accountability that you'd see in traditional MBA programs into their learning structures to counter this problem. Their promise? Their idea is that not only can the student absorb the latest and greatest content, but they'll be supported by a network of peers that are all seeking the same self-transformation. And it's highly focused. We're seeing a range of models pop up. The one I'd like to highlight, as with Maven, is this idea of Cohort Based Courses. This is an example just to show you the power of new education models. As an internet-native form of learning, Cohort Based Courses, or CBCs, fixate on community and accountability. The idea is that students come together virtually for a targeted experience. All are seeking a similar personal upgrade. The cohort members sprint together over several weeks to collectively wrestle with and develop a practical understanding of a topic. Everyone's in it together, pulling each other along, just like an MBA program. Students build relationships with their professors and with each other. The courses don't rely on generic and dry case studies. They dive into nuanced and complex topics that people and organizations are struggling with right now. And with this cohort-style approach, working together encourages higher graduation rates, stronger relationships, and more takeaway impact. We're seeing lots of examples from the Alt MBA from Seth Godin to brand strategy courses from Scott Galloway to how to build a second brain, how to write online, how to be an impressive female leader in the modern business world. There are so many programs out there, and it's really impressive when you dive into it. Courses like these are also supported by ongoing mentoring groups and private online communities, helping people foster the long-term relationships that people naturally crave from their MBA program. Compared to a top 20 MBA program, again, where those costs are north of $200,000, CBCs are significantly more affordable, generally ranging from a few $100s to several thousand. The reduced time commitment and the convenience factors are really appealing to a lot of individuals. CBCs can certainly provide mastery through the intense learning experience. They can serve as badges. There's nothing stopping you from marketing your completed courses on LinkedIn or your resume. And lastly, the internet-based network you gain can certainly garner you the attention and relationships required to thrive for years to come. You've got mastery badges and attention, MBA, through programs like this. Again, the whole purpose here is not to comprehensively analyze alternative MBA programs, but simply to open your mind up to different models that can accelerate your career. If you're in tech, you might feel roadblocked by needing a degree like this. I'm here to tell you that you don't. There are other methods to credentialize yourself and build real skills and networks. And I'd like you to think about this when you're considering an MBA. A recent quote from Fast Company. At current rates, 50% of the S&P 500 will turn over in the next decade, likely replaced by forward-thinking, agile companies that don't put as much stock in a business school degree as their predecessors did. The generation that's growing up, millennials and Gen Z right now, they're valuing different types of learning, different types of communities. That's going to translate into the next decade or two. So start understanding how to align your education experience with where the world is going. Overall, think of it this way. Education as we know it is going through a reckoning. When you see venture capital money flowing into a new need like edtech, it should trigger you to rethink your career strategy and your education strategy. I love seeing an ambitious professional who craves being a business leader. This is rare amongst the tech community, and I applaud them. I gravitate towards those people and try to help them. We need you to rise like this. Previously, the only model was to get an MBA, and that still applies to some people. I get it. Some people have their hearts set on this, and it can be very valuable, especially if you go to a top school. However, we should consider emerging alternatives like cohort-based courses. So please remember this as you leave today. You don't need an MBA to become a successful business leader in tech. The world is more entrepreneurial and fast-moving than it's ever been. In most cases, you don't need a license to pursue anything. You don't need permission. There are resources out there to get you going now for free, and we're now seeing alternative models beyond the MBA to help you ascend into the business leadership realm. You can get mastery, badges, and attention if you're creative. Value your time, value your money, see how the world's changing. You can get there through different pathways. I'd love to continue the conversation. Feel free to hit me up on Twitter or LinkedIn. This is a topic that really gets me going. I hope you got a lot out of this conversation today and you see education differently. All right, we'll connect again soon. Thanks. This is your host, Matthew Doan. Thank you for listening to the Rising Digital Leaders Show. Again, my mission is to help you elevate your career as a digital leader and live a thriving life. I hope this episode sparks new thinking and helps you take meaningful action in your world. If you enjoyed the experience, I'd be so grateful if you subscribed and left a 5-star review. That's it for now. Until next time, my friends, stay virtuous.